Good morning. It is about 6:30 in the morning this morning. I am drinking a cup of coffee and going through kind of my normal morning process, right? And the Lord reminded me that I said that I would touch back on John. So this is me touching back on it. John 16:13 in the Message version. And in the Message version, it kind of clumps together verses 12 through 15. So that's actually the section that I'm going to read right now. But it says, I still have many things to tell you, but you can't handle them now. But when the friend comes, the Spirit of the truth, he will take you by the hand and guide you into all the truth there is. He won't draw attention to himself, but will make sense out of what is about to happen, and indeed, out of all that I have done and said. He will honor me. He will take from me and deliver it to you. Everything the Father has is also mine. That is why I have said, He takes from me and delivers to you. And this really spoke to me. I've had the Lord speak to me a lot this week. You didn't know. He's almost always rebuking me in some form or fashion. I tend to be a stubborn, spirited sort of a person in the confines of my own home and my own space. And he definitely comes and is welcome in my home. So we have good conversations, but I spoke on not being the prosecutor, and then I spoke on not being the vigilante, and those are important things. And then I kind of got jumbled up and confused my last recording during the vigilante, and I confused myself, I think. I'm not sure, but I didn't take the thought to the Lord first. So we have a place in the heavenly courts. We have a very important place, one where we can present things that have happened to God, our Father. And I was thinking, because we are presenting that case, that in that instance we become the prosecutor, but the Lord rebuked me on that, and he said, he clarified that Satan is always the prosecutor. That doesn't change. We never jump into that space. Even when we are up in heaven and we are presenting our case, we're still not the prosecutor. And Jesus is the defender. The defense attorney. That never changes. That position belongs to Jesus. So we have the unique place. And Jesus says too, but we have a unique place in that we are God the Father, the judge's children. So in the privacy of the judge's chambers, that's where we present that case. And don't get me wrong, it's not necessarily what one would call private. You can think of it like there are angels in and around everywhere in heaven. So you're never just you and the Lord. There are angels everywhere stationed. That's their job. Kind of like a security team. I kind of picture it that way. But in terms of how we present a case to him, it is something that we present a complaint. We present basically a wrong, something that does not align with his will, and then we tell him what his will is. We tell him according to his word, and he loves it when we quote his word to us. It's like when you're a mom, when you've said something to your children and they come back to you and they tell you that thing for the reason why why they get to have whatever it is, or why something didn't go the way that it should have, or whatever. It's a great thing to have happen. And he really enjoys that, but he takes on that position up there with us as God the Father, the judge. And this kind of ties into God, our God Father, and it deepens that understanding for me, because I just was not, I misspoke in the last one in terms of us stepping into the prosecutor's position in heavenly courts, because even then we are not presented that way. We are presented as God's beloved children, the judge's beloved children who know his doctrines. And we have every right to stand up and to speak and to present and to say, this is why this is not okay, and then to send angels out and to do. And that's our position. It's not a position that is likened down here on earth. That position doesn't happen unless you actually are a judge's child, or the president's child, a king, a queen's child. There are some who are. The vast majority of us don't have that experience in real life. And so it's hard to correlate that with real life happenings. But of course that does happen, right? The children are favored. Their children are favored. It's not supposed to be how it is, but it is how it is, right? And so the Lord clarified that for me. And that was important. And it's important that I come back to you guys and say, hey, my thinking on it was unclear. And the Lord had to clarify that with me. And as we go through, the Lord does speak, and he does bring the truth out. And there are things that we don't know. We don't know until we say it, and then have the Lord rebuke us and clarify with us. And that's okay. That's a learning process. That's part of being the child, the beloved child who is welcome in the chambers. That's who we are. That's our position. And it doesn't change when something wrong happens. It's very important for us to take that place. It's very important for us to go to our Father in his heavenly chambers, and before the court say, this is not okay. That's what we say. This is not okay. This is why it is not okay. You follow me? This is why it's not okay according to the Bible, according to what our Father says. This is not okay. God is the ultimate up there. So when we understand his doctrines, when we understand our place, that we have a right to stand and say, this is not okay. This is why it's not okay. And this needs to be changed. Go change it. We have every right to do that. We have every right to stand up. And Jesus gave us that right. That's a very big part of why he went to the cross. So that we have every right to stand up before our Father, to stand up before God, to look at him, to see his face. I don't know why, but as a child growing up, not that I have a problem with traditionally bowing your head in prayer, right? But I just wanted a father that I didn't feel like I had to bow my head to be heard. And maybe that's hard to explain, but me with my past history, And my actual dad, human dad, I call my human dad Pops. So if I am talking about my dad now, it's most of the time going to be my stepdad, my mom's current husband. I refer to my actual dad as Pops, typically speaking. And I don't usually call him dad anymore. I was, as a child, afraid of him. And he abused us. And there were repercussions for that. But where was I, Lord? Yeah, all of that to say, I never felt welcome. I never felt wanted or loved by my human dad. I never felt that I had a special place. I felt that I was, what was it that he said? Children are to be seen and not heard. That kind of thing it's awful for anyone to try and live through that, but that's literally what it was. And then we had to walk on eggshells around him to try and keep him happy so that the rest of the family could have an okay day, which is not okay, but that's just how it was. And so growing up, I just wanted a place with the Lord that I didn't feel like I had to bow my head to him to be seen. And through this process of building my faith, the Lord has taken me through and shown me he is the lifter of our heads. I'll have to find that verse and actually read that for you and say where it is. I don't remember right now where it is, but it is a Bible verse. He showed me through the word that is one of his titles. That's one of the ways that he calls himself the lifter of our head. And that was so powerful to me. It was so empowering. Part of what we go through is trying to figure out who we are, but we are lost children going through not understanding who our Father is and trying to define ourselves by what limited stuff we see, the limited understanding that we have of the world and of ourselves. We can't understand ourselves if we don't understand our Father. We cannot get a clear picture of who we are until we have a clear picture of our Father. And don't get me wrong, this picture always is gonna be one of those things that changes a little bit over time as we learn, right? But that's not something that coming into it and coming into life that we can define. And unfortunately, it seems like God, the lifter of our heads, gets lost. We don't hear that in church. We don't have other people saying that to us. We don't have that clear definition there. We don't have that. Why don't we have that? That's a question. Satan doesn't want us to know that part of God. He doesn't want us to know that part of him, but to his children, he is loving and compassionate and merciful. And to the ones who are following him, we are hidden beneath his wing until the right time, and then we are put upon high places, and he prepares that banquet for us in front of our enemies. He gives that to us. He never allows us to be put to shame. The people who are following him. I have this is my kitchen wall. That's the reverse of what I'm going to show you. But this is my kitchen wall. Look at this. I started building this when we were going through our separation and our restoration and all of the things. But these were a number of verses and whatnot. This is an entire part of my kitchen wall here of things that I needed to repeat to myself. There are prayers, and there are a number of verses and a bunch of praises on here. This is where I like to keep everything first and foremost and forefront, and it's where all the praise is. It's where all the praise is. And one of the verses is Matthew 6:33. I have it in the NLT. That's probably not going to be my favorite version if I go back through and reread, but that's the version that I was in at the time. And it says, "Seek the kingdom of God above all else and live righteously, and he will give you everything you need." And then below it, 2 verses down, in the way I have it structured, is Psalms 37:4, and this is also the NLT. And it says, "Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you your heart's desires." He will give you your heart's desires. Do you know that it is his will, and it is his want, and it is his pleasure that we prosper? There's a part in Isaiah, and I have to read this and go through this better, but Isaiah 55. Oh Lord, I'm really bad with numbers. Isaiah 55, and I'll specify this later. I'll come back around, I promise. But in Isaiah 55, it says that his word prospers in what it is sent to be, in where it's sent to be. It cannot return to the Father void. God is not a man. He does not lie. That's also on my wall. It's also on my wall somewhere over. It's in here. But I would encourage you guys to build a praise wall, a reminder wall. Pick out the verses that God gives you for encouragement and for your current walk. And if that changes, that's okay. That's okay. To start with, you've got more wall. Also, you can take them down. Take them down, rearrange them, put new ones up. Keep it current to where you are with the Lord. That's okay. Keep your walk in front of you, right in front of your face. Make sure that that's what you see and that's what you go to. We really have to watch that what we're intaking matches where we want to go. Because what we are absorbing and what we're thinking about and what we are taking the steps towards, that's where we're going to go, whether we realize that or not. So if it is nowhere, we're going to go nowhere. At least nowhere good. Anyways, I was saying that for a reason. What was I saying that for? Lord help me. This morning I'm a little bit of a hop, skip, and a jump sort of a mess. But Isaiah 55 leads into what I need to speak about next. And it's really great. But remember that the Lord is the lifter of our heads. We are his children. We are allowed and wanted in his inner chamber and in his courts. And that's our place. That's the place that we're supposed to take. Don't be fighting down here. It's not going to achieve anything. And that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're not supposed to be fighting each other. Don't take all of that pent up and take it to a person. Don't do that. It's not okay. Work through it with God first. And then take it to court. Take it to that inner chamber. Take it to a place where it's going to get something done about it. This is important. This is important. Make sure you're going to that inner chamber. Make sure you're going to the Lord, to our God, our Father, our Master, the lover of our soul, the lifter of our heads. That's how we will be sustained through the hard times. That's how we will learn to become steadfast the way He calls us to be, the way that He is. We are supposed to be like He is. He doesn't turn back. He doesn't go back under any circumstances. He doesn't go back. There are times where what He says will change a little bit to us, because as we speak to our 2-year-old, we do not speak to our 7-year-old the same way, hopefully, right? I hope you're not doing that. We shouldn't be doing that. We should be growing with our children so that what they hear is different. It's the same, but it's different. It's delivered different, the way that they need it. As we grow in the Lord, the way that we need it to sound is going to change. And the path that we take is going to require different instruction. So, as always, I would encourage you to take what anybody says, take what I'm saying, take it to your spirit. See if it applies to you. See if you need to hear this. I think everybody needs to hear it, that we have a place in His courts. But you may not be there yet, and that's okay. But that's where God wants to take us. That is a part of restoration. That's a part of accessing your miracles. It's a very big part of that. It's understanding who you are in His court system, who you are in His heart, and to Him. It's so important. I can't in my humanness put into word exactly how important that is. But it's very, very important. So this is something that we all need to understand is our place, and what we are supposed to be doing is supporting each other in heaven, not tearing each other down on earth. The Lord is good, and so He'll honor His word. He'll honor His word. What we bind on earth is bound in heaven. What we loose on earth is loosed in heaven. If we loose havoc and strife, He'll honor that. He will absolutely honor that, but that is not what any of us wants. Not at all. Anyways, I think I'll leave that there for this week. And if this touched you, follow, like, subscribe.